Hey everybody, good morning. I am live here. Let me adjust this. All right, I guess that's as good as it gets. Okay, that's slightly better. I don't know, whatever. I'm live. I am here. Today I am starting the little mini series. Okay, I don't like that. Hold on just one second. Okay, there, now I look more centered in the camera. Today is the first day of this little mini series that I decided to do on mindset, taking you from victim to thriver. And I'll go live at the same time tomorrow, go live at the same time the next day, and the next day, I think that's 3 days. Anyway. Just to kind of give you an idea of how to kind of start shifting your mindset. And I know that this is talked a lot about in, a lot of the self-help communities, but I feel like it's important to also talk about when we are talking about survivors and switching from that mentality. And so if you're on and you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions. If you're watching the replay, feel free to let me know that you're watching the replay. There is a bug. So just let me know that you're watching the replay. Feel free to hop on and say hello to anybody that is brand new in my group. Welcome. I appreciate you being here, and I am so excited about your journey and so excited about the progress and things that are to come. So let me get a little drink. Seriously, I'm pretty sure you guys can't see that bug, but it's like this small. Anyway, moving on. So let's talk about the first day. The first day we are going to talk about the victim mentality, and I'm going to give you some exercises or an exercise that will really help you get out of this mentality. Not everybody necessarily carries this mentality as a victim of sexual trauma. However, I feel like it's very important to address. And then tomorrow we are going to talk about survivor mentality, and then tomorrow we are going to talk about the thriver mentality. So before I go any further, I want to let you know that yes, you are or you were the victim. There is absolutely no doubt about it. You have every right to feel the way that you do. You have every right to have the thoughts that you do. You have every right to feel like this shouldn't have happened to me. My life would be completely different if this didn't happen to me. You have the right to all of those emotions. I don't ever want you to feel like I am trying to convince you that you were not the victim or what happened to you was your fault. Absolutely not. That is not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here is when you continue down this path. So just know that yes, you were the victim. Yes, what happened to you shouldn't have happened to you, and it was absolutely awful. And the damage that it caused is almost tragic to your life, right? It almost makes you feel like you're never going to be the same. You're never going to be completely healed. How can people do this? You feel like you can't trust people. You feel like you are not safe in your own body, in your own sexuality. You feel like you're not safe in pretty much anything and everything that you do. What happened was awful. It shouldn't have happened. There's no doubts about it. You are 100% the victim when it took place. Now that we have established that it's okay for you to be here, it's okay for you to be in this mindset, because the reality of it is that it is part of the process. You do need this mentality to get to the next state. There's no way that you're just all of a sudden going to feel good about what happened, right? We think that we do, and then we realize that we really don't. So this is all part of the process. It's okay to be here. It's not shameful to be here. It's not, you don't need to feel guilty for being here. This is all 100% part of the process. And it is completely okay that you're here. So now that we've really established that, let's kind of talk about what the victim mentality and what it means. The victim mentality means that even though that you've gone through these things and you're aware and you're in a place that you know better and you know that it's not normal and you know that it's not right, you still continue to place the blame and set the responsibility on everybody else. And I don't mean the responsibility of what took place, like, you know, the actual action and the actual experience and the actual trauma and the actual abuse. I'm talking about the aftermath of it. When you know better, it's time to take responsibility for your healing, for the things that you've done after the fact, for the things that took place after the fact. That's all that I'm referring to. You cannot necessarily take responsibility for an action that was done to you. You don't have any control over that. So what the victim mentality means is that you are still placing blame and responsibility to everybody else rather than taking responsibility and control where you can, right? And I say where you can because, again, you're not responsible for other people unless, you know, you have a kid, whatever. Let me move that out of the way so it's not distracting. So that's what it means, okay? It means that you are placing the blame and the responsibility for what happened to you onto everybody else, whether they did it to you or not. So what does this look like? This looks like erratic emotions. This looks like being crazy all the time, right? Like, you know, your past relationships or in your current relationship, you're labeled as crazy, where, you know, you're kind of cool one day and then you're crazy the next. Or I used to get called batshit crazy all the time. It's kind of like that, right? Where you're like a roller coaster of emotions. You're like almost feel like you're bipolar. And I know that that's an extreme example, but you almost start to question whether or not you really have it. So certain things set you off, certain triggers set you off, and you project everything onto everybody else. You're upset because they did that to you. You feel this way because they did that to you. You're pissed off because they did that to you. So it's a lot of blame, right? It's a lot of, I'm not going to take responsibility for my actions, my emotions, and things like that. It also looks like refusing to trust people. It also looks like refusing to depend on people, afraid to ask for help, afraid to depend on people. I think I might have already said that, but it is definitely in that mentality. It also looks like working so much that you put yourself into exhaustion because you are afraid of the pain. You are afraid of confronting what's happened. You are afraid to face your fears. That is very much a victim mentality. Another victim mentality is refusing to grow, refusing to believe that things can get any better, refusing to believe that you are in control of your life now. It also looks like refusing to believe that you can take responsibility in what's happened in your life, right? It's about everybody else and how they are making you feel. It's about everybody else and your problems, right? Your problems. You, just like you treat people the way that you treat them, or you treat people the way that they treat you, you mirror that back to them. And then the second they start to piss you off, it's their problem. It's their fault. They did this. It also looks like being walked all over. So that means that when you have a good heart and you're really loyal and you've experienced all this heartache and all these problems from other people, that is very much the victim mentality. It's their fault that I've been walked over. It's their fault that I'm so loyal and I'm a good person and I have a good heart and I get walked all over. That is very much a victim mentality. And I want to say this because this isn't just about sexual trauma. This is very much a victim mentality for anybody that's experienced this trauma. But I am specifically talking about this with sexual trauma survivors because you do these types of things, right? You do attach yourself to people so that you can be loved. You do try to prove your worth through external things because you think that that's how you prove that you are worth loving. You use sex to get love, etc., etc. And so there are all these things around having this victim mentality and thinking that you are coming from your heart space when in reality you really are not, right? You are very much ran by your ego. You are very much ran by your logical brain. Why? Because you believe, and you have a right to believe this because I used to believe this. I know what it's like, but you truly believe that following your heart and following your inner guidance and your knowing and I don't want to say your gut because you kind of learn that gets you where you need to be. But when you follow your heart, it gets you in trouble. That is not true. It is absolutely not true. When you listen to your ego, when you do everything by logic and by thinking, that is what gets you in trouble because your mind distorts images, it distorts information, it distorts memories. And so what it does is it keeps you safe and locks you in. And when your ego wants you to be right, wants you to be attached, and wants you to never be wrong, and wants you always to be safe. And so that means that you don't listen to your heart. You do whatever your logical mind tells you to do. And that is very much a victim mentality thing. Okay, so what can you do to turn things around? You want to start taking radical responsibility for your life. And again, this isn't about taking responsibility for what happened. This is about taking responsibility for the after. This is about taking responsibility after you've known better and taking responsibility for your healing and your lack thereof, right? This is about taking radical responsibility for your emotions, your thoughts, your projections, the way your life has turned out after. Because the reality of it is, especially in a rape situation, the abuser does not give a shit about you, okay? And with this sexual abuse, as a child, that gets a little bit more complicated because it usually happens from a family member, right? But most of them will be in denial about what happened. There's no way that what happened hurt you, right? So to them, that means that they don't really care. So that means that you've been living your life under their power instead of being free and taking back your power and owning your fucking life. So you have to start taking responsibility, a radical responsibility. There is no other way around it. Start seeing things. Where can I take responsibility for this? It will give you so much more power over your life. I cannot stress this enough. Even if nothing like this ever happened to you, taking radical responsibility for your life will be crucial. It will change the way you do things. It will change the way you see your life. It will change the way you see people and your relationships. Start taking radical responsibility right now. When things mess up, when things are hitting the fan, when things don't feel good, when you're out of control with your emotions, where can you take responsibility? And just start asking yourself this, because it really will start showing up. It really will start showing you things where you need to start taking radical responsibility. It will be truly amazing. Now, all that sounds great, right? Take radical responsibility. How am I just supposed to take radical responsibility for my life after these tragic things have completely happened, completely destroyed me? I feel like they've completely taken my soul. I'm not motivated most days. I don't feel like doing the things that other people feel like. I don't feel like other girls. How am I just supposed to, take radical responsibility for my life? I've got an answer for you. Gratitude. Now, you might be thinking that this is absolutely crazy, but gratitude starts to shift your mindset in a second. It starts to help you see where things are really positive in your life. And so it actually starts to help you take responsibility for your life, because you start to see that you can start calling these things in, and then the problems actually become solutions. And there's an exercise that I used to do for every morning for like almost a year, and it really did start to help me take radical responsibility for my life. It is not me that does the exercise. I'm going to leave the link in here for the comments, in the comments. And I want you to start using this every single morning. It will start helping you shift your mindset. It will start helping you call in more gratitude in your life. It will radically change your mindset if you start using this. It will help you start taking radical responsibility for your life and start shifting your life and changing your life so that you can become a survivor, so that you can become a thriver, right? That's what we're after. Just because you become a survivor and a thriver doesn't mean that you weren't ever the victim. It just means that you no longer resonate with that mentality, and that's what this is about, right? You want the growth, you want the change, you want the transformation, and that's what this is all about. So I'm going to leave the link in that in the comments. It is by Tony Robbins. It's 5 minutes, y'all. It is 5 minutes. That's it. I know that you have 5 minutes. I know that you have 5 minutes somewhere, somehow. You can connect with it through YouTube. You can even YouTube search it if you want. But I will leave the link for you right here. If you are a survivor of childhood sexual trauma and you're not ready to work with anybody one-to-one, and you really want to start transforming and healing along with this 3-day mini series, I'm going to leave a link for you in the journal that I created that will help you really start this recovery journey from childhood sexual trauma. You can do that. You can work it out. It's only $22. It comes directly through to your home. It's through Amazon, so you can check that out if you're interested. I also still have slots available for my 8-week program. My 8-week program is all designed to help you heal and let go of the trauma that's taken place in your life so that you can create a connecting and loving relationship to yourself. And that means that you're going to have better relationships with other people. That means you're going to be more in control of your life and your emotions and your thoughts. That means that you are going to make more money. That means that you will have better sex. That means that you will be healthier mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So let me know if you are interested in that. Just send me a little message. I have one slot available at $397. After that, the program goes to $997. So if you are truly interested in this, now is the time, especially if you want to save that money. Tomorrow, I will go live at the same time, and we will talk about survivor mentality, which is a step above being the victim, which is that next step that you can get to. So I'm really excited. I hope to see you there. If you're watching the replay, feel free to say that you're watching the replay. If you're new, jump on and say, hey, I'm new, so we can welcome you. If you have questions, leave questions. I want to thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day. See ya.